you're a wife, you're a mom, you're a dog mom. There was a comment on one of the
You're
other,
actually being very good.
and yeah, there was a comment on one of the other videos, where there were a few comments actually where people were saying like, oh, women, like black women specifically, who are going to get this is why, it's ruining the family. Or they'll say things like most of them aren't married, or it prevents them from having children. And I looked at the statistic because I wanted to see, like, so I looked at the statistic to comment back on this person's comment on that video. And quite frankly, the overwhelming majority of women who have doctorates are wives and mothers. Like 77% of women who have doctorates are married. But I do think that being such a successful woman, who is very well known, and is, like, your reputation among so many people is really high. Like, you have to be with somebody who's very, very secure in themselves. And thankfully Dr. Jermaine is. But how do you guys navigate that for those who are out there listening and might need a little bit of advice, like, because, or maybe they might even have like a little bit of apprehension about going back because they don't want their significant other to feel insecure about their success or their pursuit of success. Give them a little bit of advice, because I feel like there's somebody out there that needs to hear this.
Wow, that's a great question. And so what I will share is my experience, right?
Hmm.
And hopefully you meaning the person that is searching for this answer, you can hear some of what you need in my experience and how we've approached it. So the first thing is, I think it starts way before you decide to enroll in that doctoral program or anything for that matter in life. I think it starts with a conversation with you and your life partner, because that's really what it is. You're building a life together.
Yeah.
Decide like, wh- where are we headed, and where are we
Mm,
going, and what does that look like from you? What do you want,
mm,
and how do I support that? And so I think it started for us with that question, and that was a really really early on question. And for me, um, as a woman, I made a very, very conscious decision early on that I wanted to be a mom. When I became a mom, I wanted to
mhm,
be. This is what I
mhm.
prayed for this. I actually had a very, very intense
Yeah.
exchange and relationship with God about this whole
This is
motherhood thing.
happening, right?
Right. That's a whole nother
Yeah.
conversation. But I asked for this. And so I'm going to be a good steward here. And
Hmm.
I've also said yes to being someone's wife.
Mm,
And I've also said yes to myself about wanting to pursue a career. And so I promised myself that I'm going to miss things in life. I'm
hmm.
not going to
And it's
be at
okay.
everything
Yeah.
that my husband is having. I'm not going to be at every single
Hmm.
thing that my children are having. And I'm not going to
That's
be
really
at
good.
every single thing that I want to do professionally. But
Oh,
I
that's really good.
promise myself I will not miss the things that will matter. When I think
Mm,
5 minutes, 5 days, 5 years,
hmm.
whatever, that I can remember not being there, or they can remember me not being there. So there was that part. And in terms of the security piece, we don't have like this whole thing of the wife does this, the husband does that.
Mm.
What works in this house? So we kind of define what that
What
looks
was
like in
here?
our it's funny because I do, and he doesn't mind me saying this. I do not iron. I do not iron my clothes. If I had to iron my clothes, you would see me show up wrinkled. And there have been some times when I've gone to get dressed and he's like, "You're not wearing that. Let me iron that for you really." My husband irons my clothes. I don't do that.
I love it.
Or he puts them in the dry cleaners. I don't do that. And
Mm,
so what we decided is that I'm never behind him and he's
mm,
never behind me. We said early on, there are going to be times in our marriage, and we
mhm,
call it where one of us has to be in the position of support.
mm. That's
Position
good.
of support allows the other one to propel forward. And our marriage has vacillated with me being in the position of support, him being in the position of
Mm,
support, me being, and we go back and forth. We're in the position of support.
yeah.
And so with that, this entrepreneurial journey actually started before it started, and
Mm,
talked about where my husband saw himself in his career and where he wanted to go. And I know and knew then that that would require travel and maybe at some point relocation. And so that was also a deciding factor in my fork in the road. I can do this from anywhere,
You can
and
do
I
it.
will be there with him doing it.
Yes. Yes.
So I think it's a matter of really understanding who you are, what you want, and if there's any inkling of insecurity or
Mm.
uh, just competition, I've heard. I don't, we don't
Resentment. Yeah.
resentment,
Hmm.
any you not owning what you want, you've got to talk about that first
Yeah.
and be honest about it,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Um, and then decide, how do I support her or him?
Hmm.
And get in that position of support, and don't see it as, oh, I'm behind him or I'm behind her or she's climbing and I'm not, whatever. No,
Right.
how do I get in that position of support? I'm never behind him. He's never behind me. We're either primary in that position of support or we're secondary, but we're always
Yeah.
supporting.
Oh, I love that. And I've been, trying to get you and your husband to do more of these conversations because I feel like people need them. So if you are watching this and this conversation blessed you, comment down below that you want them to do more of this kind of content on their social channels.